no question, you get crankier the older you get. I was a cranky 20-year-old, so, I didn't have that far to go.
One of the more interesting people that we've come across in New York over the years is satirist Fran Lebowitz. She's known for her often cynical, always acerbic wit, and her great ability to really be able to cut to the heart of the matter. Well, Fran took time out from writing a novel recently to join us for a chat about such things as plastic surgery and fashion.
I always liked the fashion business. Not being in it, of course, would make you like it. But I'm happy not to be in the fashion business. But I've always found it a very entertaining business, and I'm interested in clothes, obviously, primarily as a spectator sport. And it always interested me.
Why are you interested in clothes, like you say, as a spectator sport?
Kind of anthropologically, that's one reason. Hardly anything is more revealing than people's clothing and trends in clothing. And partially it's aesthetic. And partially it was a decision I kind of made when I first came here when I was about 18, which is that those were more fun people to hang around with than writers. So basically better parties. There are very few stylish people in any time. There are always a great many more fashionable people. And most people are neither. Most people look terrible. Most people in this country look horrible. Really, people looked better when designers and editors told people what to wear, because they knew more what to wear than you do. Now, designers and fashion editors look around to see what you are wearing, and then they design it, and that's why the clothes are worse.
So we're given too much freedom and
there's too much democracy. What you have now is the fashion equivalent of, say, running the government the way Ross Perot wanted to run it, as a call-in show. And so people just look awful in this country. Go into a mall someplace in the middle of this country, and you would think that Charlie's Angels just went on the air. That 1970s Farrah Fawcett haircut, which was awful then, has not died in this country. It has real staying power. You see it everywhere. You go into the airport, you see it everywhere. And partially this is caused by, I've always had this idea about clothes and haircuts and things, that people tend to get frozen at the moment of either their greatest success or their most fun, exciting time of life. And since probably to most people, high school and college, that time of life is the most exciting because it's usually the most sexual for most people. That's when they get frozen. And they'll still wear those things from that era. And if you happen to have gone to high school in a bad era, you're stuck. By the time you are 35, you're actually, you're starting to fall apart the way a building starts to fall down. And, once I was, just looked down and I was pasting something down and I thought, what are my mother's hands doing coming out of the sleeves of my shirt? There they are. Mom's hands on my body. This happens to you. Plastic surgery is the sort of thing that when you're young, you think to yourself, I would never consider doing such a thing as grotesque. Because when you're young, you genuinely believe that that face that you have is yours for life. You just can't imagine what will happen to you. And the things that happen to you as you age are so mortifying and so shocking. You're so surprised to see that these things are happening to your body, these things that you associate with your parents, that you think that, I guess what you think when you're young, as you walk around the streets is that those old people chose those bodies. What? You were a smart shopper, right? You chose a 25-year-old body. They chose a 45-year-old body. And I think that that's kind of the unconscious idea that we have when we're young. That's a talk show topic. That's not real life. You tell me how often you see that. And I see it probably more than most people because it's only possible for women who have money. The only way that older people acquire the romantic companionship of younger people is with money. Men, too. It's just that there are a lot more men with more money than women. There are very few women who can afford those young boys. And that's pretty simple. So the ones that you do see are ones who can afford it. You can't tell me that you know someone who works in, you can tell me that you know a 45-year-old woman who works in a 7-Eleven who has a beautiful 20-year-old boyfriend. I think that probably is the rarest thing in the world. Verbally, I feel basically it's not fair. I think that, I think of myself in kind of ways, kind of a Mike Tyson of sarcasm. Would Mike Tyson get in a fist fight with you? Oh, maybe. But, an honorable heavyweight champion of the world wouldn't, someone who could punch you out in 1 second. I have, such an instantaneous, mean mind, that I very rarely say things that I think. I save them up and I say what they think. I don't think I'm cynical. Other people think I'm cynical. I think I'm realistic. I don't think, in fact, I'm cynical at all. I think that people who radiate this sort of false optimism, I think they're cynical. I'm not cynical. I'm realistic.